In our study of the Gospel of Matthew, we have found ourselves in the last few studies looking at the Beatitudes. We are going to continue on looking at the Beatitudes with Matthew chapter 5 and verse 9. I will be reading from the New Jerusalem Bible. Blessed are the peacemakers, they shall be recognized as children of God. Then I'm going to drop down to verses 38 through 42. You have heard how it was said, eye for eye and tooth for tooth. But I say this to you, offer no resistance to the wicked. On the contrary, if anyone hits you on the right cheek, offer him the other as well. If someone wishes to go into the law with you to get your tunic, let him have your cloak as well. And if anyone requires you to go 1 mile, go 2 miles with him. Give to anyone who asks you, and if anyone wants to borrow, do not turn away. I originally wrote this section with the 100th anniversary of the armistice of the First World War just a few weeks away. The 11th hour of the 11th day of November 1918, the guns fell silent on the Western Front. The war to end all wars? Well, it did not end all wars. In fact, the end of the First World War and the ensuing Treaty of Versailles, it sowed the seeds for the Second World War. The Second World War, well, it sowed the seeds for the ensuing Cold War. Wars and rumors of war are part of the human condition. Peace is not to be found. One of the ways that people write off the significance of who Jesus is to call him a great teacher, a person of wisdom and moral insight, not the savior of the world. When you do that and read a verse like Matthew 5:9, you can say those who are working through international agencies seeking to mediate and resolve issues between countries are the peacemakers. Or we can think of somebody working in and through community organizations in large urban centers to bring together people as peacemakers. Now, roles like this are not unimportant, don't get me wrong there, but they are not what Jesus is talking about here. We understand only too well countries and groups may be made to work together, but scratch below the surface and they still loathe each other. Look at verses 38 to 42 and you see what Jesus meant by a peacemaker. It is he or she who lives at peace with the world around them. What Jesus understood is that the root of all war and hate is not out there, it is in our hearts. This is why those who reduce Jesus to a good teacher are mistaken. For they, in effect, are underselling what he has to say and what he is about. You see, it's not what Jesus said is unimportant, as it is not important as the fact that Jesus provides the means to live at peace with the world. You can tell people something, but give them the means to do that something, and you empower them. What Jesus offers us is the opportunity by his grace to love those around us. Now, in order to get to that point, we must allow him to draw out of us the hate and pettiness that is a part of our human condition. Peace in this world is only possible as we have the peace of God ruling and reigning in our hearts. The two Beatitudes in verses 8 and 9 do not say the same thing, but both build off the same principle. Jesus did not talk of original sin as the theologians of the church did. In these two verses, though, we see Jesus accepting the premise of original sin. If you think it through, you realize that the doctrine of original sin is one of the most liberating truths of the Christian faith. Look at the high standards Jesus holds us to. If I had to do this on my own strength, this would be a tremendous burden. It is not that Jesus teaches us great moral truths. It is that he teaches that through him living in us, that we can come to live out these high standards of moral life and lifestyle. Do we want peace in this world? Then it begins with allowing his peace to take hold of my heart